Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is willing to release 2 North Korean prisoners in exchange for Ukrainian soldiers currently being held in Russia. On Saturday, Kyiv announced it had captured the North Koreans in Russia's Kursk region. Ukraine's security service releasing video, it says, shows the wounded POWs being interrogated. Neither Moscow nor Pyongyang has acknowledged that North Korean troops are in fact fighting alongside Russian forces. Ukraine says the captured troops, though, are definitive proof that Russia's army is dependent on aid from Pyongyang. CNN's Claire Sebastian is following these developments for us and joins us now from London. So what more do we know about this particular situation, Claire?
Yeah, Erica, I think, look, President Zelensky's offer to swap the North Korean troops for Ukrainians, you know, on the one hand is genuine. He definitely does want to secure more prisoner swaps and bring Ukrainian prisoners of war home. But I think in large part this is also about trying to push Russia and Pyongyang into admitting that this is actually happening, that North Korean forces are fighting alongside Russian forces in the Kursk region. Neither Moscow nor Pyongyang have even acknowledged that this is happening, even though Ukraine and the West have been saying that it's happening for several months now. Again, on Monday, we got a carefully worded no comment from the Kremlin on this offer from President Zelensky. Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin spokesman, saying, "We cannot comment on the statement in any way. We do not know what is true here or who offered what to whom," so being very careful there. But this is important for Ukraine on the one hand because it shows to the West and the incoming Trump administration that this war is not a local issue, that it is expanding, and Russia is bringing in this second country to be actively involved in the fighting, and secondly, to show that Russia, as Zelensky has said, can no longer manage with outside help. So to try to do damage, essentially, to the reputation of the Russian armed forces here. And Ukraine is presenting evidence by showing this video purportedly of these captured soldiers that Russia is not just not commenting on this, but actively trying to hide the presence of these North Korean soldiers on the battlefield. The security services claiming that one of the soldiers had a Russian military ID that he was carrying. President Zelensky also saying that it was quite a major effort for the troops to capture these soldiers alive because he claims Russia tends to execute them to avoid them being taken into captivity. So they are sort of presenting this evidence that Russia is really trying to hide the presence of North Koreans on the battlefield in Kursk. So look, we cannot verify that video or the nationalities of the soldiers involved, but this offers potentially a glimpse into this murky partnership between Russia and North Korea here, and one that is critical, of course, for Ukraine as it tries to launch this new push in the Kursk region, presumably to give itself more leverage in holding on to a part of Russian territory as it goes into what may be an accelerated timeline towards negotiations under President-elect Trump.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of holding on to some of that Kursk region, there are concerns about Ukraine's positioning on the battlefield at this moment.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that is the key thing here, is that Ukraine is losing territory. Russia is now some 3 miles from this critical transport hub of Pakrovsk in the east. Russia again today claiming another settlement just to the southwest of Pakrovsk. And Ukraine, while it is launching this new push in Kursk and is stepping up drone attacks on Russian territories, for example, is severely outmanned. Manpower shortages that have not gone unnoticed by the incoming Trump administration. The new National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, telling ABC News on Sunday that he would push for Ukraine to lower the draft age from the current level of 25, saying that if Ukraine is calling on the West to show its commitment to democracy, Ukraine has to do the same. But certainly in terms of this push towards negotiations, we got more of an insight from Mike Waltz in this interview on just how the incoming administration views the timeline for a meeting between Trump and Putin. Take a listen.
From President Trump's perspective, you can't enter a deal if you don't have some type of relationship and dialogue with the other side, and we will absolutely establish that in the coming months. I do, expect a call for at least in the coming days and weeks. So that would be a step. We'll take it from there.
So a first step towards some kind of negotiations. Now, clearly, look, the rhetoric around ending this war in 24 hours that we've heard from President Trump on the campaign trail has been moderated somewhat. His incoming Russia-Ukraine envoy, Keith Kellogg, says that he'll give himself 100 days. President-elect Trump has now talked about 6 months. But this is clearly a hairpin bend in terms of approach from the Biden administration, which has tried very hard to isolate Russia. Now, the Kremlin, when it comes to its response to all this, is staying sort of studiously neutral. Dmitry Peskov saying today that such contacts would be very necessary and appropriate, but no firm plans are in place as of yet. Erica?
All right, we'll continue to watch. Claire, really appreciate the updates. Thank you.